I'm Tyler Jackson. I play Shady Sports, and I am at Shady Spring High School, and I am joined by Vince Culicerto, head coach of the Shady Spring Tigers and fan of the Super Bowl 59 runner-up Kansas City Chiefs.
I hear you. I hear you. Get the jab in.
And I had to take it while I could. Vince, obviously, I want to thank you for having us down today. Obviously, a lot of excitement in the air. Fall sports are getting ready to start up. Everyone's had a good summer. Football, you guys are coming off a playoff appearance last year. I kind of want to start off with, the expectations coming into this season, because you do lose some key players from that one, some veterans, some kids that played a lot of football for you, but you also returned some key players. So if you can just talk about what your expectations are and what you've seen so far in the first week and a half of camp.
Now, just like you said, in key spots, we have guys back that, played a lot last year, were a big part of our team last year. Quarterback, middle linebacker, center. You're going down the middle of the field. It's kind of like baseball. Straight down the middle. And once you catch your pitcher back, we got the guys handling the ball, calling the defense. These guys are back, and they're good, and they're good players. We've had to fill in. We had a great line last year, but I had a couple juniors last year that would have played on a lot of other ball teams if they were not on ours. They had some guys in front of them that just took the time off, and now they're seniors. It's not like, well, okay, here I am a junior now or a 10th grader, now I get a chance to start. These guys are seniors, played a lot of JV football, and they're big kids. They were just a hair off of playing more last year, so we feel like we'll be okay there, just not real deep, and we're hoping as long as injuries stay away from us, we'll be fine there, and maybe just as good. I really think so, but we got to stay healthy. Defensive backs and receivers is where we're really putting in new kids, and some of them are young. So, I'm kind of telling them here lately this year, I'll use all of you. Everybody know each spot. If I can use all of you, we're all about the same, then you'll be fresher, and maybe that'll be a plus for us, but everybody's going to have to learn everything. That's where the smarts come in. We do a lot of over and over and over repetition, and hopefully that'll help us out too.
You hit on it, but defensive backs and receivers are really what stand out. I think you lost 16 interceptions from the secondary
Yeah.
between Easley and Bailey, and those are kids that played a lot, and those are kids that played on both sides of the ball. So and those, especially in the secondary, those are kids that they have to be football smart. They're the last line of defense for a reason. And it's not just that you're trying to replace and even get to a baseline level, but 15 turnovers are a lot. When you're generating over a turnover a game from that secondary,
yes,
that matters. You're trying to get back to that baseline. So who are the kids that have kind of stood out that they're fighting for their spots?
Well, you said with the defensive backs, with those interceptions, we knew how big that was. So now we're even pushing more on, hey, we need more sacks. We need more turnovers from the interior, because we're going to be greener back there. But hopefully they watched last year and want to just continue the tradition of picking off balls that we had going last year. But we have Gage Spears. He's a 10th grader. We think he's going to be a heck of a defensive back and receiver. He's going to be a sophomore. This is going to be new for him. But boy, he does have the tools. He really does. Miles Clark, backup quarterback. He did a little bit of defensive back in JV, but we're letting him do more this year, and even at receiver. And he's shown a lot of promise. Kid, good feet, but he hasn't had experience on Friday night defensive back. So those are two right now. And then we have some free safety, Jacob Claypool. He played some varsity last year. He's going to be a junior. He'll be a free safety. But again, like I'm saying, with wide receivers and defensive back, there's going to be a lot of rotation. And we're just going to have to. And hopefully that'll help us out. And then somebody shines. Somebody all of a sudden, when the lights come on, shows us something. And if that's the case, that'll be good.
Yeah, and speaking of rotation, that's one thing you guys have done really well over the last couple of years is you've rotated running backs. Like I think there's a game where a kid might have over 100 yards. The West Side game kind of comes to mind, where it's like, all right, like this is so you guys did a really good job. But there wasn't a bell cow back. There wasn't a 1,500-yard back. It's like we have to get it from this guy.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that position and what your expectations are. Is it going to be that a rotation thing? Do you have a guy that you feel like, okay, he's probably going to take 70% of the carries?
Yeah.
What's the
Well,
outlook there?
Caden Elmer's had most of the carries from anybody coming back, and Evan Roach. These guys had more of those carries in the last couple of years on varsity level. A couple of years ago, I had Gavin Davis, who all these other running backs were just freshmen and 10th grade, and I didn't think were ready yet. He was a senior and ready, and I held him off defense because I knew he was going to be my cash cow. He was going to be my man, and we ran him a ton. It's what you have that you got to deal with. And if I don't have that superstar popping out, and they're all good, we're going to use them all and be fresh. Those boys play on defense too. So they're going to need, Caden Helmer, linebacker, running back. I've had that combination of get a few times. Somewhere it's going to give. Somewhere in there, on one side of the ball or the other, it's going to give. And a lot of times it's usually defense. The offense, they still keep going. But we know they need breathers, and we're going to have to use other running backs. We plan on doing the same. Right now, we've got Evan and Caden as our returners, but then we've got Blake Snodgrass, who is another kid we're real high on, who'll be at linebacker. Played a little bit at the end of last year. This kid's legit.
Absolutely. Now let's get back to your returners. Obviously, Cal Culicerto, 1,000-yard passer. I think one of only 4 or 5 that's returning in the area. And that's with him playing probably 8.5 games.
Yeah,
so I think he missed 2.5 games with a concussion.
Yes.
Still had over 1,000 yards passing as first year as a starter. Talk to me about what it's been like getting him back. Obviously, your son, so you get a little more hands-on work with him. But talk about his return and working in those new skill players with him. Because I imagine with his dedication, as he's probably been like, hey, let's try to get ahead of the schedule here. Let's try to get this chemistry.
He has all summer long. He's thrown to all these boys, and that's the deal. We come out, we do Saturdays, just a lot of throw, and it's to everybody that shows up, and that's kind of we've talked about it. It's going to be a lot of receivers used this year. Hopefully somebody shows up and shows out, and we're like, he's your main guy. But I've talked to him. You had some guys go up and get the ball last year. That'll spoil you. I played quarterback. They make plays for you too. And you had some good ones. But, their junior year, they were a little bit easily and Bailey were okay, had their mistakes. Senior year, a lot better. But we got some kids we think that can make the plays. And Cal, I've had a lot of QBs. Their second year is always better, more smooth. But he, last year he knows what he's doing. It's his biggest asset, and he audibles. He knows what we're looking for out of each play. That's one of his pluses for sure. It's his football smarts, and he's ready. It's his last year. He's fired up, and hopefully he has another good year.
Yeah, Drew Carr's kind of one of the guys I think about when you talk about quarterbacks from year 1 to year 2. That was just night and day. It just looks so much different.
Oh gosh, and to take that further, first time you play in a playoff game to the second time you play in one as a quarterback. Josh Weeks, Adam Weeks, and Drew, their first playoff appearance. Those 3 QBs got 2 appearances. And their first one, it was interception city, and then their second one a lot better. Cal's, playoff game last year was crazy, crazy in itself, but he played pretty darn well. He had a big pick in there that hurt us, but at the beginning, but boy, he made some nice plays that I was pretty pumped up about. But then that game got nuts. But hopefully we get back to that, and we see that maturity will help at time. But we're not worried about that right now.
I think you're probably not thinking too much about this, but it's probably about 3 or 4 years ago. There was I was over at one of your practices for playoff preview, and the trainer said, you had told her, yeah, when my son finishes up, I might hand it off. You've been doing it for 20 plus years. Have you thought about that? Is this your last year?
I have thought about that, and I'll make the for sure decision before before the season's
So not leaning any way or anything.
No, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say anything about that. No, we'll worry about this season.
Gotcha. What do you think about this whole NIL deal? And what if Shady Spring could offer something, an NIL thing? I was at Midland Trail and they said, Piggly Wiggly pepperoni rolls. What would the Shady Spring community offer?
Well, I'm going to give them some free advertisement, I guess. Probably one of the biggest things would be the free Bob's hot dog combo over here, or smash burger combo at Bob's. That would definitely be something, or our Market Deli combo down there in Beaver. But this stuff, I've looked in it briefly. I can't. It's not what I signed up for. It's just a different. It really is a different deal. The recruiting, the being able to go where you want. It's just one after another. These punches are coming, and that wasn't what I got into coaching for. It really, truly wasn't. Or I went to college. I had opportunities, believe it or not, to be a grad assistant at one point, and I was like, that's not what I want to do. What I wanted to do is what I've done, and that kind of stuff. I'm glad it wasn't here when I started, and because it's just too much for me.
Gotcha. Coming into, I think this is what, year 20 or 21 for you?
21.
21. All right. So coming into year 21, what's different? It's you can still always learn new things each day, but after 20 years, what do you feel like you're learning from this off season and this training camp coming into this season?
Well, probably at this point, coaching, a lot of coaches I coached again have come and gone a couple times at a few of these teams that we've played, but probably a little more respect, a little more respect from the referees, maybe a little bit. And I'm learning to tone it down, with the refs. When I first started, it was just, I had it as hard as I could go, fired up, which your team responds and plays fired up. There's it's one of those deals. More calm, the boys are calm, they read off me, and nothing gets me too up or down now. Just more, hey, what do we got to do? First half of the James Monroe game last year, Cal's hurt, he's standing behind me, head ringing. I got a new quarterback out there, 10th grader, and first half we don't do squat, and it's just like, oh my, sick feeling in your stomach, like this season could end up bad right here, right now. We're down, we haven't even moved the ball, and we just kind of sat down in there and didn't go yelling, just kind of, what we got to do, what can Miles do best, and we got to figure something out. And we stayed calm. Boys were calm, we came out and won that game. That's kind of an example of when it first started to now that it can give us.
That's kind of segues me into an interesting question. Do you feel a lot of pressure? Because football is so much different than basketball. In basketball, you're guaranteed these postseasons.
Yeah.
In football, it's, each game legitimately matters. Like, you're talking 3 weeks into the season, like, our schedule very much hangs in the balance. I know last year with how things fluctuated with points and everything, it became that much more dire.
Yeah.
But is that something that, week to week that you think about and is really right there in your head?
Well, here's one thing they did with, I don't know if they did it on purpose, but it was a great idea. They put me and Coach Olson on bus duty together. So we got to talk every day, and I've known him from way back. I was first starting to teach when he played over at Independence, and I was over there at the junior high teaching, and I remember him. And, we've talked since he's been there, but when we got on bus duty together, that was good because we talk a lot, and we talk a lot of smack. And I would tell him, your job is simple. No pressure, as you said. You get to rewrite the whole 0 to 0. Your schedule is 0-0 when it comes tournament time. I said, you might get home court advantage in your section or whatever, but man, you can fix problems, and if you got a kid hurt early in the year, 1 or 2 kids. I've had that happen to me in football, and then they come back later in the year. They were a huge part of my team, and we start winning games, but it's too late. We lost them. But I was starting to play good and could have been in the playoffs. That could happen with him. It is a big difference. And but I chose, this is what I do. And it is a lot of pressure. more than probably needs to be on you at times, but you signed up for it. And I knew my dad's a coach. I know all about it. And, it comes with the territory. But yes, it is a very big difference.
Absolutely, Coach. Well, appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today. And look forward to seeing you guys this year.
Appreciate it. Thank
Thank
you.
you.